This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
And good day, I'm Elena Rusk. The couple charged in the death of their adopted sons, Oren and Orson West, are due back in court later this afternoon. Prosecutors allege the boys were killed about 3 months before Trezell and Jacqueline West reported them missing in December 2020. The boys' bodies have never been found. The West charged with second-degree murder, involuntary manslaughter, and child cruelty, among other offenses. We learned in the courtroom last week that jury selection in the long-awaited case is expected to begin later this month. And we are learning a bit more about a child's death in Lamont yesterday morning. Kern County Sheriff's deputies were called to Stowbaugh Street about 7:30 a.m. and medical crews were then called to the scene, where officials confirm a child at the home was later pronounced dead. A neighbor tells 17 News it was an 8-year-old girl. KCSO says the investigation is ongoing and they will release more details, like a cause of death, at a later date. Anyone with information is asked to call KCSO at 861-3110. And now to your Crime Watch, as a dangerous social media trend has led to the arrest of 3 Bakersfield teenagers. Police say they got a call on Sunday about someone stealing a car in a neighborhood near Newstein Road and Belterrace. Officers say the teens broke into a car but then took off in another stolen vehicle. Around 5 hours later, officers found the stolen car near Rosedale Highway and Verdugo Lane. 2 14-year-olds and a 15-year-old were arrested. Police say this theft is similar to the social media trends in which young kids target Kias and Hyundais for theft and reckless driving. And thieves and vandals have prompted county officials to close part of a local park, calling it a, quote, public health and safety threat. The bathrooms at Virginia Park in southeast Bakersfield will likely remain closed until they are completely rebuilt, according to a county administrative officer. Now, Ryan Alsop is telling us every part of the bathroom is damaged. Maintenance and cleaning supplies were stolen. Over the last few months, officials say park bathrooms have been vandalized 14 times, and the county has spent $29,000 in repairs. Bakersfield police confirm former Ward 7 City Council candidate Raj Gill was arrested over the weekend, accused of offering money to have people shot and to burn a temple. The 60-year-old was arrested Saturday night for 6 counts of solicitation to commit a criminal act, according to police. Gill is accused of approaching several people and offering them to shoot people that he was involved with a dispute with and to set fire to a Sikh temple. The former is no longer listed in custody and charges have not been filed there. 17 News has reached out to Gill for comment, but we have not heard back as of news time. Anyone with information about these alleged crimes is asked to call the BPD at 327-7111. But let's turn now to some education headlines. Parents and students at Highland High School were on edge yesterday after shooting threats were circulating on Instagram. But an investigation by the BPD found those threats were directed at Highland High School in Palmdale. Bakersfield police say they have seen an increase in these types of incidents. Officers say those who are making the threats do it through social media because they believe they'll remain anonymous. But he says police can still easily find them. Now, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department confirmed to the BPD that the suspect who made the threat for Palmdale has been taken into custody. Now, members and supporters of the LGBTQ community spoke out in support of a local teacher at last night's Kern High School District Board meeting. The comments coming in after last month's tense meeting in which supporters of Olivia Garrison say they were verbally attacked, booed, and insulted by other people in attendance. Garrison has been in the headlines after giving an interview to the New York Times about helping students socially transition at school while protecting their privacy from their parents. Trustees were taken to task last night by more than a dozen people who say they allowed adults to verbally attack children at last month's meeting. Dolores Huerta asked the board to not tolerate hateful comments.
Coming to board meetings and attacking students because they're LGBTQ or transgender, this is really, really harmful, and it's really against everything that the board is supposed to do to protect students.
A union representative from the California Teachers Association also spoke against the board. 17's Marco Torres has been looking into this for us, and he has more at kgt.com. And in lighter news, congratulations in order for McFarland High School's VEX robotics team. The team undefeated in all of their matches, earning them a spot at the VEX State Championship at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. That competition was held over the weekend, McFarland finishing second place. That was enough to earn the Cougars a spot in the World Robotics Championships in Dallas, Texas, coming up in April. Congratulations to McFarland and the team.
Hello, this is Tim Callahan with Clinica Sierra Vista, and we're excited to unveil the Community Health Center of the Future, our comprehensive care center. It's located right across the street from Memorial Hospital. We have every service under one roof, from family medicine, OBGYN care, dental services for adults and children, behavioral health, and much more. So find your way to better care at Clinica Sierra Vista this year at our comprehensive care center. Visit our website, clinicasierravista.org, for the latest on this project. We'll see you soon.
Well, in 17 business news, SoCalGas held a virtual forum yesterday to hear from the public, and dozens of customers attended that meeting for several hours to voice their complaints. It's the first of two virtual public hearings to get opinions from customers on rate hikes before the California Public Utilities Commission approves or denies the proposal. SoCalGas says it needs the money to upgrade infrastructure, but customers claim SoCalGas executives are collecting high salaries while gouging the customers. Now, if the rate increase is approved, the gas company says bills for the average household would go up about 13% next year. Meanwhile, Verizon customers on older plans can expect a price hike next month. The company is adding a $2 monthly fee for anyone who has not switched to one of their latest plans. Customers were notified last week, but Verizon did not say how many people will be affected. The phone provider says customers can avoid the increased cost by switching to an available plan. And Weight Watchers is soaring after the company said it was getting into the prescription drug weight loss business with the acquisition of Sequence. That telehealth operator can prescribe medications under brand names including Ozempic, Wegovy, and Trulicity. Weight Watchers offers subscribers meal plans with the goal of losing excess weight. With the acquisition of Sequence, the company is now tapping into a red-hot market for prescription drugs that address obesity and broadening what it can offer to customers. Shares of WW International Inc. jumped more than 31% in morning trading today. And inflation is hitting the country's school cafeterias hard. That means the price of keeping children fed is soaring. According to a new report, some companies that provide food to public schools across the country are charging more than the schools had budgeted for. Federal statistics show food prices at primary and secondary schools in the U.S. jumped more than 300% in January compared to last year. This week, hundreds of school nutrition professionals will be heading to the nation's capital to urge lawmakers to support school meal programs. And inflation isn't just affecting the cost of food for people. Pet owners across the U.S. also dealing with a spike in pet food prices. The Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis says the cost of food for pets rose 15.1% year over year in January, and pet owners have taken notice. Some say the food price hasn't shifted much, but the cost of treats has skyrocketed. Well, in your 17 Health Watch, Governor Gavin Newsom is slamming Walgreens over its decision to not distribute abortion medication in several states. In a tweet, the governor said, quote, "California won't be doing business with Walgreens or any company that cowers to the extremists and puts women's lives at risk. We're done." Last month, Republican attorney generals in 20 states threatened legal action against Walgreens and CVS if they dispensed the abortion pill. The drugstore responded, saying it would not sell the pill in their states, among them Kentucky, Texas, and Mississippi, where abortion is illegal. But Walgreens said it would also not sell pills in states where abortion remains legal, like California, Alaska, Florida, Iowa, and Montana. And we're learning President Biden plans new taxes on the rich to increase funding for Medicare. The president has started to unveil parts of his budget proposal being released later this week, including an announcement today. He wants to increase the Medicare tax rate from 3.8% to 5% on income exceeding $400,000 per year, including salaries and capital gains. That would likely increase tax revenues by more than $117 billion over 10 years, according to prior estimates by the Tax Policy Center. Biden also wants to expand Medicare's ability to negotiate prescription drug prices. And U.S. health officials alerting consumers about 2 more recalls of eye drops due to contamination risks that could lead to vision problems and serious injury. The announcements follow a recall last month of eye drops made in India that were linked to an outbreak of drug-resistant infections. There's no indication these latest recalls are related to those products. The FDA noted that separate recalls are for certain eye drops distributed by PharMedica and Apotex after those companies announced they were voluntarily pulling several lots from the market. 4 Bakersfield firefighters are at our nation's capital lobbying on behalf of our hometown department. The International Association of Firefighters, which represents more than 300,000 members, is holding its legislative conference this week. They're rallying against forever chemicals in their gear and fighting for a $1.5 million grant for new equipment. The Association of Firefighters was the first major labor union to endorse President Biden's 2020 candidacy. They plan to rally at the Capitol today to urge Congress to implement more safety protections. And Honor Flight Kern County is seeking donations to send World War II, Korean War, and Vietnam veterans to Washington, D.C. to see their memorials and receive honors for their military service. They're hosting a donation drive on March 30th, starting at 4 p.m. at the Chuy's restaurant on Rosedale Highway. Just honk your horn, drop off some cash, wave hello to their incredible volunteers who make this happen. Honor Flight says there are 46,000 veterans here in Kern County, with more than 8,000 of them being World War II and Korean veterans. With these community donations, they have been able to send 45 flights to D.C. Flight 46 is scheduled to leave Meadows Field on April 18th. But now we want to head to California's capital, as Governor Gavin Newsom says he will not be giving a State of the State address this year and will instead travel to the state on a 4-day tour to highlight his major policy priorities. The California Constitution requires governors to deliver a report to their legislature each year on the condition of the state. Governors usually fulfill this requirement by giving a speech to the legislature. Instead, Newsom says he's going to send them a letter. Next week, he plans to tour the state for 4 days with some lawmakers. His office says he will highlight policy proposals that he says will strengthen communities. No word yet if one of those stops is here in Bakersfield. And in other news around the state, Disneyland has quietly removed the song Zippity Doo Dah from their Magic Happens parade. The song comes from the 1946 Disney film Song of the South, which has more recently been criticized for racist imagery and themes. The parade returned to the park on February 24th, but the song has been replaced by one from Peter Pan. The change comes as Disneyland's Splash Mountain ride is also being reconfigured to remove references from Song of the South and instead pay tribute to Princess and the Frog.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.